NL East, the Braves are 81-44. The Braves are 81-44 plus 207 on the run differential. They have a 12.5 game lead over the Philadelphia Phillies, who are 69-57. Phillies are playing some good ball. Pretty good ball, man. They've been playing a lot better as of late. They've been playing a lot more inspired baseball as of late. And I just want to take a moment to quickly tip my cap to Philadelphia sports fans. A lot of people that don't live in Philadelphia and don't root for those teams have this idea about the Philadelphia fan bases of the Eagles and the 76ers and the Phillies and the Flyers. And man, they're just such a tough market. It's so hard to play. It's so hard to get. No, I think people are misunderstanding the Philadelphia fans and maybe a lot of the East Coast fans, because I think there's a difference between being hard or being harsh and unreasonable, or having high expectations and expecting high caliber, highly compensated athletes on their teams to perform well. The difference is with the Phillies and the Phillies fans is that they know last year was a little bit of a fluke in terms of making it all the way to the World Series. They were a good team, but there were some teams that were definitely better than them. And then the playoffs came around and the Phillies got absolutely on fire. And they were kind of playing with house money as they got to the World Series. And good for them. But then they got better this year. They added Trey Turner. They get Bryce Harper back later in the year. They struggled early on, but they knew ultimately that Trey Turner was a good player, and they knew that this team has the juice, and they as fans could provide the magic for a team like the Phillies to go on a nice little run and start to become relevant in the playoff picture. And what do? Instead of booing Trey Turner, instead of dogging him, instead of putting signs out there in the stands like get rid of this guy, or calling into the sports talk stations, let's get rid of him. No. None of that happened. And they did what I believe to be maybe the best thing the Philly fans could have done out of all the options they had this year. And that was to get behind their guys, go all in on Trey Turner, because he ain't going anywhere after signing a 10-year deal. And they said, you know what? We're going to have this guy for a decade. It's not going to do us as the fans or the organization any good to watch this guy melt down and fall apart and wildly underperform. So what do? They get behind their guy. They give him standing ovation after standing ovation every time he comes up to the plate over the span of, 2 or 3 day stretch. And since they've done that 10, 12, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, whatever it was, since they've given Trey Turner and shown him that support, he has been a completely different player. And the Phillies, because of A, Trey Turner's contributions, and B, the fan support, the Phillies as a team have been completely different. They've got the juice again, clutch hitting. Trey Turner's been good. Schwarber's starting to hit the ball a lot better. I'm just saying, man, the Philly fans, if the Phillies go on to make a deep playoff run and or end up winning the World Series, I'd argue that the Philadelphia Phillies fans would have almost as much to do with the team's success as the actual players themselves. That's how significant their contribution has been to their team so far this year. So for anybody that says, this is what I'll say on top of that. For anybody that says being a sports fan or going to the game or being committed or being dedicated to your team or cheering loudly or supporting or not or sounding off or contributing, and it's for anybody that says being a dedicated fan or being a committed fan or spending lots of time watching your favorite team, rooting for your favorite team, calling them out when they do poorly or cheering them on when they do well. For anybody that says that stuff is stupid, it's a waste of time, it doesn't affect the team, I never want to hear that again, especially after what's happened in Philadelphia with both Trey Turner individually and the Phillies as a team in 2023. Because Trey Turner, for the first 4 months of the year, forgot how to play baseball. I mean, he literally was just an absolute black hole, worthless for that team. At one point, they had him a 10-year contract guy, averaging $30 million a year, hitting 7th in that lineup. And honestly, the only reason he wasn't 8th or 9th is just because he is Trey Turner. And the Philadelphia Phillies fans came out in groves and decided, we're not going to dog our guy. We're not going to dog the organization. We know this guy's capable of being a great player. He just needs to know that we have his back. Just like a player needs to know a manager has his back on maybe a questionable call or something like that. or they need to know that their teammates have their back when, you know, somebody throws at them or slides dirty into second base or something. The fans showed Trey Turner they have his back. They're prepared to support him over the next decade, and they want him to be good. And wouldn't you know, the Phillies got hot and Trey Turner got on fire. It's not a coincidence, man. It's not a coincidence. The Phillies fans brought the juice. Just like last year, they brought the juice with the Philadelphia Eagles. Just like last year, they brought the juice with the 76ers. And all these teams, man, make deep postseason runs. Deep postseason runs. You can sit back and criticize the Philadelphia fans and the Philadelphia fan base. Oh, they're too harsh. They're too diehard. They're ruthless. Well, that sounds like a lot of different ways to say they have high expectations and they demand excellence of their professional athletes who get compensated pretty generously. If you ask a lot of them, they have faith in their guys. They stick behind them. They expect a lot out of them. And when they see a guy not giving it everything, or they see a guy underperforming and there's no effort, there's no adjustment, there's no reason for that, they don't see any life out of that guy, that's when they start to turn on them pretty significantly. With Trey Turner, it was apparent that his struggles were affecting him greatly. It was very obvious that Trey Turner just seemed lost and just like could not get himself out of this rut. And he was trying everything he could. He was making swing adjustments. The lineup was changed with him. You know, the manager was writing him out in all different spots in the lineup, and nothing worked. And that missing piece of the puzzle, that missing link, that final course of action that he needed was that push from behind from the Philadelphia fan base. And they gave him that push, and he jumped right out of that little rut, and the rest is history. So look out for the Phillies this year, just because they have that thing that a lot of teams don't have, which is just kind of that little like pixie dust, that kind of flutter of energy. A lot of places don't have that, man. A lot of places don't have that.